Hi, this is Brandy with a B-Bit Crafty, and today I'm going to be doing a book edge painting. This will be my first time attempting to paint a book edge, so stick with me and find out if I pull it off or if I completely ruin my book. I know, I can hear your horrified screams from here. My book I'm going to be using today is the Silver Gryphon by Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon. First step is to decide what the subject of the edge is going to be. I decided to paint Tadri. Sometimes it's best when trying new things to keep it simple. So I am carefully sketching out this Silver Gryphon with a pencil, so of course I can erase it if I make a mistake, and any pencil will do. This happens to be a Blackwing Pencil I'm using, but again, any pencil will do. Another tip is to sand the page edges before you start drawing on them. I did not realize the page edges would be so uneven, so I'm struggling a little bit with the pencil getting caught on the edges. So, tip, sand them before you get started. It won't completely ruin the project if you don't, but it does make it easier. A step I left out, but you can see evidence of with the yellow tape on the edges, is that you will want to wrap up your book before applying anything to it. I used yellow frog tape around the edges, and then 2 printer pages to cover the main areas of the book. This will protect it from any stray media you don't want smeared all over the book cover itself, especially the book cover edges. Sketch finished, it's time to start adding some color. You have all been deceived. I said I was going to paint the page edges, but actually I'm going to use my Copic markers. Typically, when putting a design on the page edges, you want to use a light medium like watercolor so it doesn't sink down into the pages and fuse them together. If you can't flip the pages, you can't read the book and it becomes a paperweight. Or I guess you could display it as a piece of art, but I like functional books. Copic markers are alcohol based, so they won't fuse the pages together. Plus, I have a lot of Copic markers and I am always looking for any excuse to use them. I got the idea for this project after seeing others display their work on the internet. I absolutely loved it and had to give it a try. I really like the idea of this project because it's such a great way to personalize my books and make them unique to me. I can even highlight my favorite parts of the book. It also really appeals to me because I'm a huge bookworm. I currently own over 600 books and I'm still collecting. My poor fiancé Josh fears we are going to be buried alive in books. I am outlining my pencil work in a medium shade of gray. And I also filled in the beak with a light yellow. I'm going to also go back and add a lighter shade of gray to the entire griffin, and I'm going to build up the colors from there. I'm a little worried about this griffin. He isn't coming out quite as I pictured him so far. When this happens, my mantra becomes, just keep coloring, just keep coloring. I'm using a book press to keep the pages together so I can draw on them. It's very important to have something to keep the pages together or you will be unable to draw on them and the paint or media might leak onto the other pages. Since I'm using Copics, I don't have to worry as much, but it's impossible to draw on frayed edges. And you can even make your own using like wing nuts and cutting boards to make a cheap alternative instead of buying an actual book press. Josh made this one for me and it worked great for the project. I never had to worry about the book coming loose at all. Here I'm using Copic Multiliners. This one's actually a brush tip to get in some of the details. I'll also be using them. They come in gray and they come in all different colors, greens, blues, reds, and I use them for all the details. They come in different sizes as well. This looks to be like a 0.5 size in gray, but they come between like 0.005 all the way up to the brush tips, so they're great for getting in the little details. The lines are crooked from the brush tips of the Copics catching on the uneven surface of the page edges, and it's making the whole outline look a little janky. So I'm going to use the multiliner to go back and reline the gray edges to make the lines look a little straighter and make the griffin look a little better. I'm taking a medium gray, a little lighter than the outline, to go through and give the suggestion of feathers on his neck and wings. To make this griffin silver with my Caron Deco metallic brush marker in silver. This is a great metallic marker. It has the consistency of paint. It is completely opaque, and I used it on a few other drawings. I liked it so much I went and bought the metallic set. To highlight the griffin with this marker, I don't really like how the left wing was turning out, so I actually used this marker to go and correct it and go through and just mark kind of like the broad areas of the griffin to give it that silver appearance. I decided to make the background green. I chose this color to match the cover of the book. I'm also going to go in with dark greens on the edges to help distinguish Tadri. He's getting swallowed up in my attempt to make a vague impression of a forest. I went back in to add some darker greens for variation. Just the base green itself made the background very flat and boring. With the dark greens, it gives the background some more interest. So on the cover, the griffin's eye is kind of closed, so I was trying to mimic the cover, but I just wasn't feeling it, so finally I decided to just open the griffin's eye up, and I'm liking this piece a lot better now. Taking a thicker 0.5 multiliner marker and darkening all the lines on the griffin to make him stand out more. I'm just hitting the lines around his eyes as well as around his beak and a little bit around the fluff of his chin. With that, this piece feels complete, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to the final shots. If you like this project, please give me a subscribe to see more work. And you can also leave a comment for suggestions on what to make next. Also, thank you for watching.